Well, the whole reason why we're here today, not the whole reason, I guess, but one of the main reasons is the Gear Expo. Pensado Vintage King's Gears. What can you guys tell us about how this came about?
Well, when we started this, it was really important to me that we build out some verticals that weren't just the shop. I believe heavily, because I come from outside the space. I come from the management space where I had a really good run. And I went into the space and said, God, there's some things that could be done here. And so to just exist online is one thing that's certainly precious and really interesting and brand new, and there's lots of tools, but there's nothing like touching the people. So I wanted to build a convention business. Originally it was going to be a pop-up convention business so we could put in different cities. And then we had a great partner in Vintage King. So so this is a chance for people to come deal with gear, but we also make it a carnival. So there's food trucks and music and all kinds of stuff. We'll give away today probably $20,000 worth of equipment.
Wow.
Yeah, we make it a big deal. And it's always free. Our events are always free. We also have a concert series called Mix Fest. We're actually going to play the Apollo in New York at the top of the year. And we actually utilize the engineers and producers as the acts. And we do certain things on stage. So we have 6 or 8 verticals besides the show, because there's too much available in the space to just do a show.
Right.
And as Dave has a great line. He says, Herb, if you leave me alone with the music, I'll leave you alone with world domination. So this is part of our world domination.
Fair enough.
That's last year's phrase. This year's phase is cosmic domination. The man's ego cannot be contained by the mere 9 planets, or technically 8 planets now. I'm so sad for Pluto. But yeah, it's gone cosmic. I mean, there's constellations out there that just make him salivate.
Yeah.
And you should hear engineers on Jupiter. They're incredible.
It's craziness.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah.
Well, why Nashville?
Why not?
Great question.
Nashville, for us, is very personal in that, look, we have guests on from all over the world. We have fans all over the world. We're in touch with people who work all over the world. This city, Nashville, the way they love music and the way they are as people, there is a humility and a civility, but also a pride. And rather than the cynicism that happens in a big city, and you kind of look over your back before a shiv goes in your throat.
Right.
Here, you can see it coming.
Yeah.
but more importantly, we just get inspired by Nashville. We get inspired by the people. It's big time music, but it's small town values. Food is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
And Nashville loves us so much that whenever, we have self-esteem issues, Dave and I. So whenever we need a little boost, we're like, let's create something to go to Nashville. We come down there, we love this town.
Let me toss in an opinion. I was just sitting here thinking about what Herb said, and he nailed it. But the world in the 2000 teens is a little different than the world previous in terms of music. And I've been pretty close to Nashville for about the last 30 years. I started my career in Atlanta, even though I'm from Florida. And you could feel 25 years ago, starting with Waylon and Willie and those guys, there was a paradigm shift in the country world. And then now, Florida Georgia Line, Jason Aldean, Brad Paisley, a lot of those guys have taken that shift even further. So the chasm that used to exist between the two worlds is much smaller now. Nashville in the 50s and 60s had a reputation for being a very closed, good old boy society. It was very exclusive of a lot of different concepts, ideas, and types of music. Now it's the opposite. Now Nashville has become a focal point for creativity of any kind. And that focus has been spearheaded by Blackbird Studios and all things associated with Blackbird. So you can go to Blackbird now and see Kings of Leon. You can see Paramore. You can see Kid Rock there. You can see Martina McBride there. So Nashville is a logical place for us because that's basically the essence of our show. We're very inclusive. We don't want to be just a pop show, just a rock show. We want to be an audio show, and that's been Herb's vision for the show from the start. So Nashville, for me, symbolizes just excellence. I've always felt the best songwriters were here, the best musicians were here, and now clearly the best studio on the planet is here, and that's Blackbird.
And the reality of it is Nashville's a media town. So whether it's television or film or anything, and creativity begats creativity. So if you're just around it, you're going to find all kinds of inspiration. And I think inspiration process is really why we come down.
When we arrived at Vintage King, we headed off the bus as Dave and Herb were welcomed with a massive crowd and soaring applause as they headed for the stage. What happened next truly solidified the realization of the impact that the Gear Expo had already made.